Good evening, Mr. Muthu Shekhar, and
Yeah, good
welcome
evening.
to IPF exclusive video interview. To start with, Mr. Muthu Shekhar, Nord has opened his a new facility in Pune in November last year. So, what's the significance of this move for Nord India?
Nord opened this November facility a few months back. This is the third such expansion which we are doing in India. The first one we did it in 2017. That was our service workshop extension plus the service mobile service van. And the second one was in 2018, where we went for an extended warehouse facility. That's basically close by to our existing facility. That's for stocking parts, which we had done in 2018. And 2019 November, we had this expansion just behind our backyard. There was an space available. Just we need to open the compound wall, and we have extended our facility. This property is almost half the size, which is about close to around 2 acres additional space than the 4 acres what we have today in the Hinjewadi. This is by and large for the large size gearboxes, which we call as industrial gearboxes, which are used for large conveying, material handling applications, large mixtures, and bucket wheel elevators, and those kind of applications. By and large, this is a big market, especially because we started as for the small geared motors, which are basically used for food industry or light duty application. So from there, we moved into the medium size gear units, which are used like airport baggage handling or for crane duty or material handling, those kind of applications. So step by step, and now we are moving towards the much larger size, which is the industrial gear units, which goes even up to 2000 kilowatts and close to around 300,000 Newton meter. So that's the reason we have started this unit.
How is Nord exactly serving the Indian manufacturing sector? Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, Nord is basically serving across the industries in Indian manufacturing segment, like various sectors, basically road construction, infrastructure, textile, pharma, food and beverages, steel, general engineering, cement, sugar, automation, material handling, etc. So you name it, we are there because this product is like no industry can operate without rotating equipment or a conveying equipment. Our products are basically rotating equipment and conveying equipment. That means which moves the goods from one place to another place. It could be an assembly line, it could be a packaging line. So you take a condiment manufacturer like Haldiram, it could be a biscuit manufacturer like Britannia, it could be Pepsi or Coke or any alcoholic beverages, or the airport baggage handling, or the crane kind of application. I think crane is universal. It goes into all kind of sectors. It could be infrastructure. It could be any kind of structures. So this product goes everywhere. So coming to the intelligent drives, which is also recently we started assembling in India. That's nothing but an additional than the gear motors and gearboxes, which controls the movement of the gearboxes, and it is optimizing the energy efficiency. It's called variable frequency drives. Of course, it's an intelligent drive where you can enhance the life of the geared motor. You will be able to do a predictive maintenance. So these are all part and parcel of our product range. And when it comes to some projects, large number of requirements are there. Could be around 1,000, 2,000 pieces in one single project. If it is an airport, for example, we are able to cater this need from the Pune plant.
So you just talked about intelligent drives. So are you also? Does it also mean your move towards IoT kind of a solution provider?
Absolutely. Our products are IoT ready. We call it as, of course, Industry 4.0. That's always a clash between Industry 4.0 and IIoT. Our products are, almost all the products are ready for the IIoT application, which can take all the communication protocols, which can communicate from one geared motor to another geared motor. In simple, if it is an assembly line, the geared motor, I mean the product comes to the particular station. It could be of one speed. Once it's positioned in the place where the filling has to take place, so the filling takes place there. It has to halt for a while. Then after that, the moment, because with load, it has to move in a different speed and different hertz. So these are all done intelligently from one geared motor to another geared motor. The command and the communication takes place. So efficiently it operates. And if there is something goes wrong or stuck, then it will be able to communicate to the central system. So central system, through a remote monitoring, we will be able to operate through a mobile or a laptop or something to set right the program.
Yeah. So you cater to industries like pharma and food processing, and these industries are typically need produce more units and also a range of products. That means they also need a modular and scalable production line. So how is Nord helping them to achieve this objective of modularity and scalability?
The modularity and scalability, to answer, because both are slightly different thing. First of all, our products are modular products. So basically, all the types of gearboxes, gear motors are universal mounting and unicase housing. So that's our unique feature, so that the gearboxes can be mounted in any position, any direction. So only thing we need to understand the requirement in the beginning when we do the selection. So that's where the oil filling and the mounting arrangements are taken care. So it's a modular product. So by and large, all the products are modular products. So we will be able to meet the versatility or the complete range. We will be able to cater. When it comes to the scaling up of operation, I can give some couple of examples in India, like Bhilai Steel Plant, when they went for the long rail plant, which was about close to around 2,600 units. When Tata KPO Kalinganagar, when the steel plant was setting up, there were more than 1,000 geared motors required through various OEMs. And Amar Tea, the Society Tea, when they went for Asia's largest warehouse, automated warehouse for ASRS, Automated Storage and Retrieval System, through Godrej Consolvio. So that time we supplied more than 1,000 geared units in a single project. And currently we are executing a project of Bangalore Airport expansion, which you all might be knowing. Bangalore Airport is already, existing airport is already reached the capacity, and the second expansion, the large greenfield expansion, is going on, and we are supplying more than 1,000 geared motors for the baggage handling. So we are able to meet by and large this huge requirements or project requirements. Even if you see our business model, close to around 50 to 55% of our business comes from large OEMs, and there are a lot of seasonal variations, and it could be government requirement, it could be the project requirement, it could be seasonal variations, or the Supreme Court ordinance. Like I can give you a classic example. The river sand should not be used for construction purpose. So when the government ruling, I mean the court ruling came, so everybody wants to go for M sand, the manufacturing sand. So there is a huge requirement, sudden rise happening for this product. So if you look at the large OEMs or the major OEMs in India, either in construction industry or infrastructure industry, they rely on Nord for one reason. we are able to scale up our operations and we are able to meet the requirements when there are a lot of ups and downs and changes. And second, Nord is a very flat organization. So my owners are available on a call or on a mail. So decision making and getting approvals are much quicker and faster than many other corporates or board companies. And most of it all is my employees. Our attrition rate is only 4%, and most of my employees have completed more than 10 years in the organization. So the matured and the the team which is fully equipped can get up to any need at any point of time.
What are the key challenges that your customers face today in the industry, and what kind of solutions do you offer to them?
So customers, the key challenges are basically the food and pharma and the sanitizer pump making industries. Today, at the present level of COVID-19 and the lockdown going on in the country, the biggest challenge comes for either the running plant, like for example, we had taken permission and our plant was operating with a skeleton team, minimum as per the government permitted levels. We had orders from the pharma companies who are manufacturing the hydroxychloroquine tablets. So we have to produce the geared motors and gearboxes and supply them at the shortest time. And this is just for a running plant. There are even new plant who are going for expansions. They need the geared motors because this product is needed across all the essential sector, like sanitizer making. So sanitizer making and sanitizer filling always done through a pump, and the pump is always driven through a geared motor. And we are the large supplier for a reputed German company who make these pumps. And food industry, I think this is common, whether it is a rice or a flour mill or a bakery or a biscuit or manufacturing. This has to continue during these days. So here also there is the running plant needs spares. Running plant needs some services. Maybe some replacements are required because most of the companies are not open, or the dealers or the stock is not open. So if they find a company which is open, then they need these products. So these are the challenges, and so far until Monday we could meet the challenges. We could support these industries. In fact, our employees were having a lot of pride in doing this because it's a national cause, and the hydroxychloroquine tablet was a world requirement. So our people were very happy to support that.
So what what COVID pandemic has taught us so far?
Pandemic has helped us to understand many things from a different perspective. For example, we were never imagining that an engineering industry or our type of industry can work from home. Today orders are being booked without travel. We are able to make the quotations, make the selections, and the engineering is doing their work. Order entries are being happening, and we are able to place orders for our parts and stocking plan, etc. Except the full-fledged assembly, the manufacturing, those activities are not happening. But other than that, if you ask me, the cycle is almost complete. So this we were not even imagining that we will be able to do. And we see a lot of productive things happening. A lot of e-learning is happening, and even in a day I am attending at least couple of seminars, couple of webinars, one or two interviews or telephone calls. So this is something which is very interesting, a new dimension. And we also see the digital world. We also see the automation. This kind of things are going to increase, and hygiene practices or some immunity boosters. So this is in one way it's a positive way.
So just now you mentioned you see a rise in adoption of automation and industry 4.0. post-COVID pandemic in India?
Definitely, I see the automation industry, rise. The reason being is I have read one article from the US. It says clearly says that the automation will be of big rise, and this has been done by World Economic Forum. Has estimated the emerging professionals resulting from automation could be around 6.1 million jobs globally between 2020 to 2022. So that shows the huge, and that's for a 2 year. We are talking of a 6.1 million jobs coming from automation sector alone. We normally have a different feeling when automation takes place. We presume that we are going to lose job. I always link it with when computers were coming in, people thought that jobs would be lost, but in fact the computers created more job than what any other sector or any other product has created so many jobs.
So post lockdown, what will be the key challenge before the industry to restart their business?
The post, we are first of all not clear from the government side, what actions or what precautions needs to be done. In fact, I see that impact is very severe, and being in Pune and in Maharashtra, we are in the top for the wrong reasons. So I'm also not sure whether we are in the U curve or we are in the W type of recovery curve. So far, the government could contain, and the spread has not happened like in many other countries. So it seems to be a U curve, but never we are we can't confirm because we are not basically health expert, or the vaccine that's not available at this moment when we are talking. So there could be a possibility of a W curve also, so which can again come back sometime in September or October. That's what in many of the discussions we are coming to know. So like we can say that COVID-19 has moved by cheese, has changed the way of doing business, and now we should look at whether it's a crisis or a new change. So we have to prepare. And every companies will definitely prepare according to the situations, according to their product and their business need. I'm sure we also have a clear plan, because we are focusing on certain segments and industries. Like I want to say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 1, the major trends are going to dominate the industry, needs to be identified. 2, always has 2 different opinions of positive and negative from this COVID-19, but I always look at the positive. 3, what I want to talk is the 3D printing will happen. This will control almost bring down the cost of the production for many of the products. 4, which is Industry 4.0 or IIoT, the automation will definitely pick up. 5 is going to be the 5G, what we are talking. And the need for connectivity. So these are all the very promising sectors, and related sectors will definitely grow. So we need to gear up. We need to understand what is the market requirement for all this, and accordingly preparations have to be made.
You just touched upon additive manufacturing or 3D printing. Are you also as a company using this technology to produce your products?
So far, no. But I have seen that gears can be produced, the modules the designed modules can be arrived by the 3D printing. So it's not far away. I don't see it. The technology is definitely, when it can be used for automobile or any other applications, then why not in the gear industry? 3D printing will come an order of the day.
Right. So finally, what are your growth plans given the fact that at the start of the year there was no COVID-19, and now we are in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic? So what has it done to recalibrate your growth plans for this year and for next year?
We had a 5-year growth plan of going to 500 crore. So that was our mission, which we started a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, the first 200 mark could not happen, or it will not happen this year because of this COVID-19. We had a plan of doing a 213 crore turnover from our 188 crore last year, what we achieved. So I don't see that 200 happening. Maybe we will reach or we will cross beyond last year. So that itself will be an being flat or surpassing last year target itself is going to be a good achievement in the present scenario. Of course, we have not kept out of our range for our 500 crore vision. Maybe it can get delayed by an year. But looking at the trends, what is happening, like certain shift of business which is going to come to India for whatsoever reason, or the local production, the local sourcing, or rely on local products and business. So we are already in Make in India, part of Make in India initiative. So looking at that, and we are a domestic consumer, a large market with a lot of youth population, a lot of energy and appetite available. We have surpassed or we have crossed many situations in the past, whether it's a attack or whether it is a tsunami or whether it is an economic crisis, we have overcome. So I have a lot of positive belief and faith in the market. So it's not going to be out of the reach. Maybe it's going to delay for a while.
Thank you, Mr. Muthusekhar, for giving your valuable time to IPF Magazine, and all the best for your business in 2020 and beyond.
Thank you, Mr. Rakesh and ASAP group. It was so nice interacting, and the time has been effectively utilized. This also keeps a lot of learning. So learning is always from both sides, I say, and that's what we believe. So thanks again from Northside. Bye.